Go on, put your hand back.
Oh. What are you doing?
I ain't doing nothing. No idea what you're talking about.
Momo! Oh, come on!
Hi there, everyone. Lars and Scott back with another Dandadan review and analysis brought to you by Camille's Harem, a channel for novice authors by novice authors. And because writing is an adventure, it's way more fun with friends. And join us as we take a turn for the absolute sweet in episode 17 of Dandadan, because we get to see Momo and Okarun having some good times. We get to see Gigi reunite with his family. Ira is sickeningly sweet. So too is the little alien kid. Everything is great. We even get some lewd hand-holding. And then everything comes crashing down when the evil eye reappears. Heyo!
Just a fun episode all around. Oh, I enjoyed it so much. Wait. I thought we were talking about Run One Half, not Dandadan.
Are we talking about Run
No.
One Half?
That's right. We are talking about Dandadan. I heard the opening for Run One Half in here, and I thought we were talking about that. Let just ignore me. Let's continue.
We're gonna get back to that.
We will. I'm just playing a bit.
Oh yeah.
But such a fun episode to like really push forward the character interactions. Like we're not having to worry about, well, we have to worry about, so we've got like a weight over our heads worrying about what's going to happen with Evil Eye, but like it's so focused on like the wholesome interactions between the characters and them recovering from a really traumatic experience. And it's good to see them like actually processing and dealing with what's going on, but also like providing some sort of answer, some sort of like process to figure out how to deal with Evil Eye going forward. And we're not done yet. Like as we saw in the last second of the episode, Evil Eye comes right back and like blows up on them right in the middle of dinner.
Oh man, it's something spooky. And the episode already lets us know at the very beginning what kind of danger they're all in as they're trying to perform an exorcism to get rid of the evil eye, banish him from Gigi's body so that way he can function without having to exist inside of Taru. And each time that the exorcism is performed, he's like, still here, I'm going to kill you all. So this puts the heroes into a very uncomfortable situation where, I mean, they're not going to just leave Gigi. They're definitely not going to sacrifice him, but they're going to have to deal with this monstrosity that is inside him. And the only way to contain it is for him to wear Taro, which is highly inconvenient and we learn is only temporary. And one of the sweet things that we get in this episode is Gigi getting a chance to check up on his parents, who we saw in an earlier flashback, attempted to hang themselves thanks to the influence of the evil eye or of the Mongolian deathworm, one or the other. In any case, they were in critical condition. And to see them now better, even though Gigi is still absolutely cursed, and him doing his best to hang around them and just bring a smile to their faces was just so incredibly wholesome. It was a great way of resolving something that was very dark and foreboding throughout this most recent arc. Like, what happened with Gigi's parents? What happened to his family? They were meant to be sacrifices. And that is now all in the past. So much so in the past that we know that the Keto family, hey, I'm finally pronouncing their name right, last video, they have been rounded up, they've been caught, all except for Grandma Keto, who is on the run, who we get to see this really disturbing moment where her broken arm gets caught in a bush and is getting like yoinked back behind her, this completely dislocated, shattered arm, and she rips herself free and then starts ripping herself apart, revealing a subterranean monster. And it's in that moment that's revealed that all of these sacrifices for hundreds of years have not been to stop the volcano, but to grow the Mongolian deathworm. For what purpose, we don't know. But this thing is swearing vengeance against Momo, so we're going to have to deal with that later. But until we deal with that, we've got some sweet hand-holding going on between Momo and Okaroon. I just have to say, I love that this scene is animated, because in the manga, it's sweet, but you don't get quite the same amount of playfulness. And the banter doesn't flow quite as well between the different panels, in my opinion. Here, it's just wonderful. And it goes to show that Momo and Okaroon's relationship has crossed a specific mile marker. No, they are not yet a couple. I'm just going to tell you this. Momo is still waiting for Okaroon to confess to her. She wants a solid old school confession. But this is a moment where she is laying it on thick to Okaroon that she's got some feelings. Unfortunately, he's Okaroon. It's not quite clicking just yet. The poor guy, and the teenage drama gets even better / worse when Ira shows up, demanding to know why she wasn't included in all of this. What has Momo been doing with Okaroon? Who on earth are these aliens? Aliens be gone! I'm the hero of this world. And then the moment that she comes to learn about this sweet little alien boy who needs to get milk in order to survive, she's just all like, let me just hug him and snuggle him. I'm gonna huggle him.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing at. Let me huggle him. I'm like, Lars? No.
But yeah, so things seem to be flowing pretty well until the seals start burning up that are inside Taro, and Taro can no longer hold Gigi. But Grandma Seiko says, okay, we've had enough time to figure out what will awaken the evil eye, what will banish the evil eye. We need to make sure that that no cold water touches Gigi. Should any cold liquid touch him, he is going to transform. If he does, we need to make sure that we have hot water on hand to just splash on him and make sure he reverts on back. And at dinner, one little drop of room temperature soy sauce is enough to summon Evil Eye, and he just rips the whole place apart. And that's where the episode ends.
Well, kind of starting there at the end, you can tell how poised, how ready Evil Eye is to continue his mission. Because the second he gains control, he's wrecking stuff. It's not just, oh, I'm back, it's time to go. And so it's like, oh crap, this is intense. And you're expecting this little thing where oh, he switches back, you have a little bit of time to splash him, to help get the seal back. No, you're not gonna get a moment. You have to act as soon as you realize something's happening.
Yeah, if you even can. Because that was ridiculous. Again, just one droplet, and then boom, there he is.
And this isn't dang it, what's that one weird mermaid show? Was it H2O, or just add H2O or something like that? The one where they get any bit of water on them, and then they turn into their mermaid. Yeah, turn into their mermaid forms, and I'm just it happens a bit quicker than that. It's more along the lines of actually what I was talking about earlier with Ranma 1/2, because that curse, the seal, is very similar, and Gigi just being his goofy self full on pulls in this wonderful Easter egg as he starts singing, and if you know it, you recognize it immediately because it's the original opening to Ranma 1/2 from the original show back in the 90s. And so it's just I caught it instantly, and I'm that is hilarious, because it's the exact same kind of setup for the curse, that water temperature thing. The cool water, yeah, you turn into whatever is your curse to turn into. The hot water turns you back. And so it's such a fun addition that they're hey, this is what's happening. Let's make a call out to where this idea kind of came from.
Yeah, and if you recognize it, then you're kind of clued a little bit into what's about to happen.
Mhm.
If you're like me and you haven't seen Rama one half, then the neat thing is that it doesn't take away from your enjoyment of the overall story. You can still
Mhm.
follow along really well without getting the reference. But if you get the reference like Scott did, it's even more rewarding.
Definitely. But like Dandadan does a lot of that. Like I've definitely seen a lot of like memes and like TikToks talking about all sorts of different stuff that's been pulled into the show, different dance moves, different like little martial art moves that you see Momo do occasionally every now and then, like are pulled from all of these different stories. And I love how it's subtle, it's not in your face, but like it's there for the people that know.
And I talked about this in my latest review and analysis video of the Amazing Digital Circus, but I'll bring it up again here for those who haven't seen it, that using references to other actual stories within your own is perfectly fine and is a lot of fun to do. But as Scott said, like if it's in your face, you're probably doing it wrong. We were talking about it earlier before we started recording about how Ready Player One, especially the book, is so in your face with all of the stuff that you need to know. And if you don't know all of the 80s references, you are lost in that book. The movie does a better job of handling it, but it can still be a bit overwhelming. Here with Dandadan, again, if you know, you know, but if you don't know, the story and the characters alone are strong enough that they can carry everything. But the more you know, the way more enjoyable it becomes.
Well, and it just adds to the entire mix that is Dandadan. Because, like, Dandadan's one of those shows that as you mix more into it, as you mix more of these, like, fun, quirky characters, as you mix more of the, like, interesting occult and sci-fi phenomena, as you mix more of the, like, teenage drama and angst and, like, all of the comedy and everything together, altogether it makes a stronger, more interesting, more entertaining show than if it was just focused on like one or two of those at one time. And like I know I'm probably gonna get some hate for saying this, but like it's part of the reason I love Dandadan a whole lot more than I love solo leveling. I mean, I'm not saying I hate solo leveling. Solo leveling is fun in its own right, but like it focuses so much on the action and the fighting and just like the fantasy kind of aspect of those fights that a lot of the other stuff is just thrown to the side. Well, with Dandadan, everything's working together to make it more entertaining.
Exactly. And with saying it's even more entertaining, I'm going to use that as a segue to come back around to talking about the whole hand-holding moments, because it really does need to be talked about, not just because animated it's fantastic, but it is a great representation of where Momo and Okarun are in their relationship as of this moment. They are coming much closer together. They now feel comfortable having physical touch, which for those of us who have seen plenty of anime, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still,
and like I love how it's I love how it's still awkward, but it's like a fun, wholesome kind of awkward. It's not like Kazuma like feeling up Megumin's hand in the like while they're having to share a bed. Like this is like them like having this like heartfelt, touching, I mean awkward, but like wholesome moment, and it's really seeing their relationship progress another step.
And it also gives us an idea of where both of them are in this evolving relationship. Momo, this is another example of just how Momo is so straightforward, and so she's playing with his hand, dancing her fingers across it, trying to intertwine her fingers with his, and when he pulls back, she's like, "No, you put your hand back there. We're not done having fun yet." And Okarun does not know how to react to this, but he manages in time to go along as far as he is comfortable. And Momo doesn't press beyond just the hand holding, which that is Totally fine. As much as we like to laugh about lewd hand holding, oh no, are they wearing protection? Which they were wearing very scant protection in this episode. The bandages. The thing, like the thing is that hand holding in and of itself is one of the most innocent ways to convey affection. Like kissing
Right.
is what is the next step, the next couple tiers, because it shows way more commitment. Hand holding is innocent enough. It's a way. It's a way to show how comfortable you are around another person, and just thinking about how when we were in the very beginning of the show, when we're introduced to Momo breaking up with her other boyfriend, we find out about all these other sleaze bucket boyfriends that she's had in the past. This scene right here makes me wonder if she ever played around with any of their hands, and were any of them like reciprocal in any kind of positive, good way? Did they pull back, or they're all like, honey, let me crush that hand of yours? Or like, oh, hand holding, you know what comes next, Momo. Rather than just enjoy the moment, embrace the moment like Okarun did.
Yeah, and like we're talking about their relationship, and I love how much that relationship is being seen by the people around them, by their friends and family, and how relaxed their friends and family are with that relationship. Like case in point, we've got Granny Seiko, who like just assume Okarun's going to be another one of these terrible boyfriends. Like from some of the comments she said, like first or second episode. But then we have like this episode, the second, with Momo's friends. They see Okarun again. They're all over the top of him because they don't have issues with like boundaries in that regard. But like it really shows how comfortable they are with him. They think he's a really great person, and they're glad that he's together with Momo in this response. I mean, it's probably to the point they're like, how come these two aren't dating yet? But like that's possibly going to happen in the future. Like we'll see. But like you get the idea. They're super comfortable with who Okarun is. They're glad to see Momo actually with somebody who's actually kind, who actually they can tell actually cares for her, and which is great. Like it's a healthy relationship, and I love seeing healthy relationships like that in stories, especially when like so many stories focus so much on like the toxicity that can be found in a lot of relationships, and try to play that up to like bring the drama and make it more interesting. The show has plenty of drama. We don't need to add any more of that.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, you said like that you like seeing positive relationships in fiction. I personally believe that we need to see more of that. Not just because it's so wholesome and fun to watch, but because it has a very positive effect on more. The word that immediately jumped to my mind is malleable, which is the wrong word, but it is apt for it. But impressionable audiences. When I was a teacher, I taught loads of different kids, and variety is great. But I noticed that for a lot of the kids who readily consumed more toxic media, that they ended up having a much worse impression of themselves, and that when they even realized sometimes that they were in very toxic relationships, they said, this is what I deserve. And I'm like, this is not what you deserve. No, get that thought out of your head. But it came back around to like I would find out that they enjoyed the stories that glorified toxic romances. And I'm like, well, why is that? And they're like, well, I feel like this applies to me. I'm like, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Those characters aren't happy. You aren't happy. You know you aren't happy. You deserve better than this. And while there is a time and place for toxic relationships in fiction, depending on what story you're telling, I think that we definitely need to see more positive relationships step to the forefront.
Yeah, that's why, like, one of my big things recently, I love the whole, like, cozy fantasy genre that's starting to get a little bit more popular. Because it focuses more on really positive relationships. And yeah, there's definitely going to be its own, that it's going to have its own drama. It's going to have its own little things that's going to make it interesting and exciting. But like, it's more about finding a home, finding a family, finding those positive relationships. And it's a really fun way to like relax at the end of the night, I found, because like it's still fantasy. I love fantasy, but like I don't have to worry about some world ending shatter, like depressing kind of storyline as I'm reading that kind of stuff. I can actually relax as I'm reading it. Yeah, that's part of what like draws me to the show is like, yeah, there's a lot of like really wholesome, like actual engaging moments. I mean, I've been betrayed by that on this show. Namely, like we start getting Evil Eye's history, and I'm like, oh my heart, and then like
or the Red
you find
Silky.
out, yeah, exactly. But well, Red Silky, like that one actually turned out pretty good. But this one, like at least to this point, it's like, oh, we find out about Evil Eye and like his backstory, and I'm like, oh no, this is really sad. Like this is horrifying kind of idea. And then next thing you know, oh, I'm gonna kill all of humanity, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh no. Oh.
I mean, you can see where he got that. I get that. But it's like it completely went from, oh yay, we're gonna have another ally. Nope.
There's one more thing that I really want to touch on as far as like the writing of this episode. So the dinner scene with everyone is so fantastically chaotic. And when I was rewatching it, it struck me. This scene right here, captured in animation, is what so many scenes are like from Hemingway. Hemingway loves to write scenes where so much is going on and it's so confusing. Like if you break it down, you can figure things out while you're reading, but it's just absolute chaos on the page. With Dandadan in both manga and in anime form is able to capture that chaos through the medium of visual storytelling in order to make sense of that chaos, because there's so much going on in that chaos that is exemplary of who these characters are, of how Ira goes from cold and awful to just gushing and warm and sweet. How Momo's got her like little crazy swings here and there. How Gigi is just an absolute prankster when Okaroon is geeking out, while Peeny Weenie, whatever his name is, the mantis guy, is explaining the mechanics of his weird underwater world, and Turbo Granny is stealing food, and Grandma Seiko is just all like, hey guys, respect the food. Like so much is going on. It's so chaotic, but when you are able to really see it play out, it makes sense and it becomes wonderful. This is something that can be done in the written word, but it requires way more work. And sometimes I wonder, like I've tried it myself writing it, and I don't know how valuable those moments sometimes are. So those are my 2 cents.
That makes sense. I love how just like we've got the 2 dinner scenes. We've got the one towards the start of the episode that's all chaotic and everything crazy's happening. And then you have the one towards the end as they're like kind of winding down for the day. And it has this whole moments where like, oh, like something's gonna happen, and then it like fakes you out, and then the next thing happens, and then it actually happens. It's just like, you animators did that on purpose.
Yes.
Oh man. I think the only other thing I really want to talk about is we do need to mention the keto lady. But I think I want to focus more on like we're seeing more character progression in a lot of these characters, but one I really liked was Ida, because like last things we saw of her, she was having a really embarrassing moment after surviving the aliens' attack on the school, and then like how she treated everybody as she was like came into like the Red Silky's power and like everything going on with that arc. And she really alienated a lot of people, and you're seeing the consequences of that. But like the really wholesome part of this is like she was trying to trash Momo in the first place, and Momo's the one who saves her from this. And it's like you could see the shock in everybody's faces. Momo's the one rescuing Ida in this situation, and it's another one of those like really wholesome, fun moments in the story.
It shows that despite their bickering nature towards each other, that at the
Mhm.
very least, as of right now, Momo is someone who can be the bigger girl and say, look, it happened. It was awful. It sucks. I might still be angry with you, maybe deep down, but there's so much more important things to deal with
Mhm.
than being angry at you. And that's an incredibly mature thing. And it's very
Yeah.
mature on Ira's part as well to accept that. Yeah, sure, Ira's still Ira. She's not just a little, she's quite delusional and gets really hot-headed real fast. But that doesn't mean that she can't be considerate and forward-thinking
Right.
and recognizes when other people are being kind to her.
Right. Well, and it's fun to see that because, like, the show has done a wonderful job of showcasing, like, how teenagers would react to everything that's going on. Like, it's a show focusing on, like, high schoolers. And so each one of these characters, like, they are a teenager in their own way, but, like, that's not saying teenagers can't have matured. It's not saying that,
Yes.
like, teenagers can, like, have actually grown up, but, like, that often enough, from my own experiences, especially as I've like when I was growing up and was a teenager, and like when I've seen teenagers around me, they'll be like really mature in some places, but then really not mature in others.
Yeah.
And that's just a basic part of life. Like as you grow up, you gain maturity in all sorts of different ways. I'm 32 now. I'm pretty sure I'm not mature in a bunch of different places, and I'm okay with that. Like the whole thing's just part of the journey, just like getting better as you go. And it's really fun to see the character progression as they're learning, they're growing, they're becoming better as they go. And it's part of what makes this story so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just when character, like, this is a great example of making characters feel relatable, even when the story is wildly fantastical. Like,
Right.
none of us will, like, even my craziest stories are not in the same ballpark as Dandadan. And those of you who have heard my crazy stories know that my stories get pretty crazy.
I have an like just in the idea phase for a Harry Potter fanfic I want to write that I want to be as crazy as this, but like I'm still planning out a lot of the stuff that's going into it at the moment.
Oh, I'm so excited for this Harry Potter fanfic that you've shared some details with me. But real quick, because you said we should talk about Grandma Keto, I'm just gonna say this as like as some light spoilers going ahead. Grandma Keto is going to vanish for a long time. She's going to show
Okay.
up again. Like the her threat against Momo is credible, but it's not something that's going to happen immediately. Because the evil eye is the absolute dominant threat right now, and in the opening for this season, there's a character. Actually, I know it's not in the opening so much as it is in the ending of the ending number, where there's this rather dumpy looking guy. So his introduction is going to take us into a completely different realm. And I think, Scott, you had already called this out, that how we go from aliens to yokai to aliens to yokai to aliens to yokai. We just spent a whole lot of time with yokai, which means once we're done dealing with yokai, it is time to jump to aliens. So that's why Grandma Keto is going to be in the background for a long time.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Well, how many episodes are we in? Episode 17. It's probably gonna go to 24 episodes. So yeah, we've got enough room for a full another arc in here at least in this season.
My guess is, so we're going to deal with the evil. So we're going to be dealing with the evil eye. I think there will be this all depends on the pacing, because going back again through the manga yesterday, I'd forgotten just how many chapters the Hot Springs arc and the Evil Eye arc take together, and the arc that follows afterwards is even bigger.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking is that they're going to I think they're going to take their time with Evil Eye, have at least 3 episodes dedicated to solving that issue. I wouldn't be surprised if they take 4 and then set up the next arc before giving us another cliffhanger ending.
Please no. Yeah, but like the pacing in the stories always surprised me before, because it's like it can't seem to focus, like there's not just one pace it takes. Like we'll have this incredibly fast episode like time after time, and then we get the whole thing with the Red Silky where we spend half of the episode in a flashback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It like really slows down when it gets to like the really important stuff. And so it's like, okay, well, we might have more of either of those going forward. So who knows where the season lies?
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that because they do have the one character in the ending, that they are going to bring him in at some point, which probably means he'll probably arrive. My guess is in either in episode 23 or 24 is when we'll see him.
Okay.
And I'm really hoping, I don't know if they'll do this, but there is kind of a one-shot story from the manga where we get to see Momo like at her peak doing Momo things in combat, that I hope gets adapted for this season. We'll see. We'll see if they do that, or if they keep that as kind of like a back pocket thing of like because they keep it as a back pocket thing. I would not be surprised if they decide to spin that into a whole movie to like tide people over while they work on the next season. So we'll just see. We'll see it. Like sky's the limit with Dandadan.
It really is. Oh man, fun episode again. I'm excited to see what else is there.
So, with all that being said, thank you so much for joining us for this particular review and analysis of Dandadan. This is the moment where we ask you for your thoughts, your analyses, your opinions and insights, and so forth. We want to hear it all down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed what we did here in this episode, and you'd like to see more, please check out our other videos. Consider subscribing to our channel. That is free, but if you want to support us financially, please check out the books that we have published. Links for them are in the description below. And again, thank you so much for joining us on this incredible adventure that we call writing. And until the next video, y'all, be careful where you drop your soy sauce, and choose.
Okini.